is going on, party people? You are listening to the 13th episode of Crossplay. It is Sunday, February 2nd, 2020, and we have a bunch of video game stuff to talk about. It's actually a little bit of a slow news week, but I think we can dive in on some stuff, including Nintendo is apparently making some big bucks this year. I guess last year they were making a lot of money. Pokemon Home has also revealed their new pricing plan, and Google tries to defend itself from more complaints about Stadia. All that and more in just a sec. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined on the opposite mic by Ignacio Rojas. Ignacio, how are you?
I'm good, except I woke up with a cold, so fighting it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's
not that bad, but
that's the worst. I at least can't tell, so you don't sound congested.
Really? I sound congested to me. I hear myself congested.
Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and people out there are like, "Oh yeah, Ignacio is sick as a dog, and Kyle's making him work." What in the world?
Sir, can I please? Sir.
I have the black lung, Pop.
Sir, please.
It is Sunday night, Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl
I'm
Sunday.
not a sports guy. Ignacio, you don't strike me as a sports guy.
No.
You made no complaint when and in fact, you were the one who was like, let's do Sunday night.
Yeah. Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not a sports guy in the first place. And also, American football isn't a thing on Chile. So It doesn't affect me either way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess from now on, we're going to be recording Sunday nights as opposed to our Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
We had been for the
At
past
least for the
12.
foreseeable future.
Yeah, at least for the foreseeable.
Yeah, for the time I'm here
future.
in San Francisco.
Yep. We'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how's your week been?
Good. Finally started classes here, and that's been something. Still, we haven't had any. We haven't seen much on the. How do you call it? We haven't seen much stuff. It's all been kind of what the course is going to be about for the rest of the semester. Administrative stuff.
Okay.
So it hasn't been hard yet.
What was that?
It hasn't been hard yet this week.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to explore San Francisco much yet?
Yeah, I've seen some parts in these couple of weeks. I haven't seen much. I do plan on going to Fisherman's Wharf or places like that. But I have walked around some areas, part of the financial district, not much, but part.
Gotcha.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if there was like stuff besides the Fisherman's Wharf that you were hoping to get to in the next weeks or so.
I mean, this is my second time here, so I've already done all the touristy stuff. I've gone to Golden Gate Bridge. I have been to Fisherman's Wharf. But regarding that part, I want to see more of the piers. All the northern part, since I saw some of it, but I was with my family, so I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. I know there's an arcade or something like that over there, and I want to check that out.
Oh yeah,
but
that sounds sweet.
Yeah, other than that, I don't know what else I could see. I've seen Alcatraz, I've seen Coit Tower. I haven't been much to the financial district, and I liked what I saw, so maybe I'll take it out. Go to IGN or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have, though,
good.
Since it's so close to my school and it's actually on the way back home, I have been to the studio, the Kind of Funny studio.
Oh, nice.
From the outside. Yeah.
Yeah, you at least like went in the comic book store, be like, Greg, open up. I'm downstairs.
No, I wouldn't do. I did see for a second Cool Greg. He was outside smoking, and
Okay.
he actually recognized me somehow.
Oh,
It's
hell
like
yeah.
I was walking around there, and he saw me. I did the Cool Greg sign to him, and he said, "Hey, Ignacio." And I said, yeah." I don't know how
Hell
he
yeah, dude.
recognized me though. He's never
That's
seen me.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, hopefully I'll stumble into one of them some other day.
That's good.
Yeah.
My week has not been too eventful. The funny thing that happened to me was this morning, Melissa and I were recording the review show, and I messed up my name on the podcast, and the reason for me messing it up is because I've been like trying to get myself off of caffeine.
Okay.
Because I don't drink coffee, so it's a whole bunch of soda, and so I've been like slowly training myself to like drink less and less of it, and so I'm at the stage where I'm only doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
But
That's
wait,
the only
so
times. Yeah, that's the only times that I can have caffeine.
got it. So how did you mess it up?
It just because of that transition of like now I'm having a lot less caffeine. My brain is a mush. It is just it's a mess, and I'm just sitting there like, and my name is Kyle Springer, and I'm just like, oh god, oh shit. Oh well, that's not actually my name. You guys should know my name by now since I've been saying it every episode, but still.
You know something I just realized with you saying all this caffeine stuff is that I drink a lot of caffeine a day, since I drink a lot of Coke Zero, and I'm reading the label right now and it says it has caffeine. So
Need a party.
yeah,
it's like when I was in college, I was a lot more active physically, so I drank it a lot more, but I felt like it balanced out, right? Because I was being active.
yeah.
But now I have an office job. I sit down all day. I come home and I sit down for the rest of the night. Like I don't do a thing, so it's just like, oh man, I'm gonna be 30 this year. Things need to start changing.
Damn, you're old.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Old fogey.
Have you tried drinking uncaffeinated? Have you tried drinking uncaffeinated soda?
Yes.
Non-caffeinated soda?
That's kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm slowly replacing it with non-caffeinated stuff. So I'm still having soda. Like right now I have an orange cream soda.
Orange cream?
Yeah. It's basically just orange soda, but it has like a creamier taste.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it, but I don't think I've ever had one.
So I'm having that right now. I'm slowly filtering out the caffeine, so I will be on like non-caffeinated soda, and then the next challenge will be like, okay, let's see if I can like lower my sugar intake. Stuff like that. So who knows? We'll see.
We'll see.
Let's talk about some video games, though.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's get into it. You're still playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Yeah, I'm still slowly playing it.
Okay.
I'm still enjoying it. Like I said on a tweet, and I don't know if you saw it or not, you can say whatever you want about the game. Maybe you don't like the mechanics. Maybe you don't like the cutscenes or the acting or whatever. But you do have to like give it to CyberConnect too for how much fan service and how much love they put into the game. Like, this is a franchise that means a lot to many people around the world. So I'm glad to see that CyberConnect to put this much love and care into the game. You can say whatever you want, but you can't deny how much work they put into it. Like, it blows me away how much they can nail the show on a video game form. Like, something I just realized the other day is that I think this is the first Dragon Ball Z video game to actually use the show's score, the original score. Yeah, and it really does something when you're fighting and you actually hear the same fighting music you hear on the show. It really hits you how much it is like the show, how much it,
that's making me smile.
yeah, or how you're in between fights and you actually hear the tense music you would hear on the show, and I really love that. And one of the things
just hear Gohan in the background being like, I got, Dad, where are you? Oh my God.
Well, I'm playing it with the Japanese track, so I don't have all those meme voices. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing that happened the other day is that I finally finished the Saiyan saga, and what they did when you finish the saga and you start the intermediate stuff is that they actually did like next time on Dragon Ball. But I love it so much because they did it just exactly how they did it on the show. It really
next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Well, not like that. It's like, hey, I'm Goku. Oh, there's this guy named Frieza, and he seems really tough. I can't wait to fight him. Yeah, and all that stuff, and it really nailed it. It really made
Goku narrating it. That's sweet.
Yeah, I saw it and really put a smile on my face. I love it so much. I can't wait to play more of it. Yeah, and
that's good.
And as I keep playing it, I'm enjoying the fighting more and more. I actually think that one thing that this game does well is that the gameplay actually progresses with you. You start doing more stuff on a fight as you get stronger and keep progressing through the game. The other day, I was complaining that it felt like whenever you were starting a combo, the game would stop you all of a sudden. But as you keep playing, when you level up, it feels like you are faster and you can actually do longer combos and you can connect more attacks that actually send your opponent flying and you chasing after them. And I love that.
That's interesting.
That's one thing I love what the game is doing. The gameplay actually progresses.
Is it like teaching you new moves to connect those things where you felt like stuff was missing? Or is it just like, hey, you're stronger and powerful now. We'll make things a little more smooth.
I mean, you unlock more stuff as you go, more attacks or better forms of your attacks. You actually start with some, maybe one attack has only one hit and that's it. But as you keep upgrading it, you actually hit the guy and you can keep chasing him and hit him again and whatever. Okay. And something I've heard someone say that I think might be true from what I played is that as you get stronger and as you keep leveling up, your character actually gets faster. And that's one interesting thing. And some other thing that you can unlock that I unlocked recently was that you can make your combos last longer. Say before your character, I don't know, hit your opponent 5 times before ending the combo. You actually hit him now 7 times, 8 times. You actually make that combo longer. That's one thing I loved.
That's cool. Do they have different outfits in the game? Like, can Goku wear like the orange and blue with Master Roshi's symbol versus like the orange with King Kai's symbol?
Well, I mean, maybe they let you do that at the end of the game, but for now it's all just going with the show.
Okay.
Yeah, you start with your original, like for Goku, your original Turtle School gi. Then after training with King Kai, you get his symbol, and you keep going on and on. Gohan gets his Namek suit and whatever.
Okay. So that would be a fun thing to do, is then like on New Game Plus, if they have that, to be like, hey, I'm gonna wear Saiyan armor the whole time.
Yeah, right? I wonder how the game addresses Endgame, like after you finish the story and all. I wonder how it does it. Yeah, we'll see. I just like I just fought the Guinea Force, and at least chapter wise, I'm still not halfway through. I might be a quarter through the story. So I
Okay.
still have a long way to go.
Good
But I'm
stuff.
loving it. I'm loving every second. I can't wait to play more.
Good stuff. Well, I've still been chugging along in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Nice.
I actually haven't got much of a chance to play it this week.
Oh.
Most of the stuff that I did was just like side stuff, like hey, go steal 3 things from here, or So not much has actually happened in the game, but I am starting to like it more. Now that I'm kind of figuring out that like, hey, I don't necessarily need to do these conquest battles, which I know I've mentioned multiple times now, so it seems like I'm so like fixated on these, like these are the worst, I hate these. But yeah, like it's starting to open up a bit and starting to feel a little bit more like an Assassin's Creed that I know. They're starting to feel like maybe a little bit more like Origins. And it's just being like, hey, we have this new stuff over here if you want it, but if not, it's not super important.
Yeah. I get what you're talking about. I played Odyssey when it came out, and for the beginning of it, it wasn't really grabbing me since I was trying to do all the side stuff at the same time, and it wasn't until I decided to let go of that and try to keep going at it like a regular Assassin's Creed game and going through the story, mainly story. It wasn't until that it clicked for me.
Yeah, like but, I don't mind the side stuff, but it's just the way they present the conquest battles at the start. It makes it seem like that is something you need to do every single time.
No,
which is not the case.
No.
So I'm starting to enjoy it more and more as I keep playing it. I will report back later on.
Yeah, I wonder if you'll actually see it all the way through, because I didn't finish the game. I remember I hit one part of the game where it forced you to, in order to progress through the story, you had to pay someone a ridiculous amount of money that I didn't have.
Oh man!
And in order to get the money, I would have to grind or do some side stuff or whatever, and that thing was what made me quit the game. I couldn't keep going.
Was that because of like a decision you made in the game?
I don't remember exactly why. I remember it was part of the story, and I remember not liking that thing.
I vaguely remember people talking about stuff like, oh, there's a decision that you make at the start of the game that could come back to haunt you later on, or something like that.
I think it was about that.
I don't know.
Story-wise, I think it was because you needed information on someone you were looking for, and in order to get that information, you had to pay a certain character, and since I was nowhere near the amount of money I needed, I just stopped.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I am a sucker for the Assassin's Creed games.
Well, I used to be a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed games back in the day. But ever since, like, up until Unity, I had beaten every single Assassin's Creed game, except for Rogue, which I didn't play. But after that, since the game started to get bigger and bigger, and especially after Origins, where it got more like an RPG, I just couldn't go with it. It wasn't what I wanted from an Assassin's Creed game, and I just stopped. So,
the weird thing for me is that Assassin's Creed Origins hooked me, like right at the start. Like Bayek's story with his kid and just his family getting basically murdered, that hooked me right away. Whereas this one isn't hooking me, but as I'm continuing to play, it's like, okay, this is still the gameplay loop that I really like. Like I just it seems like an interesting story. I'm sure I will uncover more as it goes on. Like I think hunting down these cult members is fantastic.
Yeah, that was an interesting part.
Yeah, I like that there are people out in the world that you have to go hunt. There are ones that are like hunting you, and stuff like that. It's starting to feel like a more living, breathing world than just like, hey, here's level 1, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's this one town.
Origins, like, I barely played that game. All the RPG mechanics really didn't do it for me. Like, I remember there was this one mission that I had to do for the story. It was very early on, like 2 hours in, 3 hours in maybe. And something I don't like about games is when you can't do a mission because you are under level. And that's one thing that happened to me. And I really didn't like that, so I stopped playing it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't like how much of an RPG these Assassin's Creed games are getting.
We'll see. We'll see what this next one is. This potentially Norse Viking one, Ragnarok. I think.
I wish Assassin's Creed games would go back to how they were before, but I know it will never happen.
A big stealth game fan. Like Splinter Cell is like one of my favorite series, and so that's kind of why I liked the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was a big stealth game. Like I could do that stuff. I also liked the Prince of Persia games back in the day. So this is like that next step, right? So it's just like, I love this, but then I'm not super big on the like. I don't mind a big sprawling RPG, but it has to do certain things and hit the right buttons, and so it's a little more difficult for me to get into those. To see something that I love kind of go in that direction, it's just like, I mean, I love you, but maybe not the best choice in my opinion. Oh well. Speaking of not making the best choices, tell me about Vader Immortal.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Life is Strange because of the choice. Yeah,
I was more talking about like Vader made some bad choices.
Oh yeah,
right?
he did. Yeah, but Vader Immortal. I just got an Oculus Quest. I've been wanting to get one for a while since I got here, but they've been out of stock everywhere. So Amazon was the only place you could really find one soonish.
It's you, Mr. Moneybags.
I just got the Oculus Quest and it came with all 3 Vader Immortal, all 3 episodes. Nice. I just played episode 1 and I really enjoyed it. It's not, the story isn't long, but it is really interesting what they show you, and especially how it ties into episode 3, which is, unlike many, I really love that movie, and I like how it ties in back to it. But something I really loved, and it's something I don't do much on video games, is the training mode. The game actually has a dojo kind of thing. I think that's what it called it. But you can use your lightsaber, and it's in this training setting. So you would actually have those flying balls you'd see in the movies that shoot at you, and you have your own lightsaber, and you have to deflect those. And I really love that. Yeah, and it's 360, so they could go behind you, and you would have to turn and toss them, deflect those lasers.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and at some point you actually get to fight someone with a sword, and I love having to block their attacks and then attack them back. I really love that.
That's sweet. So what exactly is Vader Immortal? It's a VR game, but like what is the story?
Okay, so the story, at least on episode 1, is that you are a character whose name I don't remember, but that you are kind of like a scavenger or whatever, and all of a sudden you are going through hyperspace and something pulls you out, and it pulls you out right on top of the lava planet from episode 3. I'm blanking on the name. Mustafar, I think.
Mustafar, yeah.
Yeah. So you get pulled from hyperspace, and right on top of you, there's a Star Destroyer. Mm-hmm. So they force you to land on Mustafar. And there they take you prisoner, and you encounter Darth Vader, who wants you to open something for him, since he thinks you might be a descendant of this place or this person or whatever, this ancient civilization. And you actually do that. And the episode 1 is mostly about you trying to escape their facility with your robot companion. And you, at one point, you find a lightsaber and you start using it, fighting back stormtroopers and whatever. And you actually find out that you are actually there because Darth Vader wants to try to figure out how to become immortal. And hence the title, Vader Immortal.
Yep.
He wants to conquer death.
Makes sense.
Kind of like by the end of episode 3. And there's actually a part...
I think it's episode 2 where Palpatine is like, hey, we kind of know someone who has defeated death before.
No,
Darth
that's episode
Plagueis.
3. Episode 3 is all that.
That's in 3?
Yeah. The story of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Plagueis the Wise.
But yeah, you figure out that Vader wants to conquer death. And there's this one part where he actually... I don't know if he talks to the ghost, or maybe it's a memory or whatever, but you can actually hear Padme talking about maybe it was her last words or whatever. And I love that connection to episode 3, how he is still haunted by the death and he still wants to conquer death. Like for, I don't know if he wants to bring her back or he wants himself to be immortal. I didn't get that.
Probably both.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I love episode 3, so I'm glad to see a tie back to that story. And other than that, I really enjoyed using the lightsaber in VR. It really is one of those experiences like you have to experience in VR. It's one of those experiences. So if you can, try to try it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does this mean that you're going to be... Can you play Half-Life Alyx on the one you have?
Oculus Quest? Technically, if I hook it up to a PC that can play VR games, I could. But the problem would be I need a PC that can actually run VR games, and I don't have one. My PC cannot run them.
I was just checking.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could use the same segue. Speaking of making bad choices and stuff, I've also been replaying Life is Strange.
So replaying it
with my partner. Yeah. Life is Strange is one of my favorite video games, and I am showing it to my partner, and she's really enjoying it. We just played episode 3. So yeah, we're in that stage where like we're showing each other our like favorite TV shows and stuff like that, and we're watching them all. And one of the things that I was like, well, I could play video games and you could watch me, because there's some really good stories and stuff in there. And she's not played very many video games, but every now and then she'll surprise me and be like, oh yeah, I know what Borderlands is. I've played this game. And I'm just, how do you, why didn't you tell me this? But I've mentioned in previous episodes that I was replaying The Last of Us. That was to show her that story. That was the first thing that we did, because I was just like, let me at least show you like the pinnacle. Like, this is maybe one of the best stories that video games has to offer. And then I was like, then after that, let's do something that you might like a little more. So we're playing Life is Strange, and I think I hooked her. Like in, I want to say episode 2, it was when she was just like, I need to know what happens. this is really good. What is going on in this town? Who is Rachel Amber? Why is she missing? So that's been really fun to replay and show her that.
So are you doing the same decisions you did before? You're trying out new choices?
I'm actually having her pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like I'm not really steering her towards one choice or the other. But if she's like, I don't know, help me, I'll like help give context. Like, okay, well, this one probably means you're a better friend right now. You're supporting them and what they want. Whereas this one, they might be mad at you right now, but might help out in the long run and stuff like that. So it's been fun. That's a good type of game to play with your partner, because you guys can sit there and make the choices of just like, do I want to say this thing or that thing?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I've really been playing.
Yeah,
this week. I haven't had much time to play.
You know what you two could do?
What's that?
Watch Your Name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to talk to you about that after we got done recording here, because we mentioned maybe having you on the review show so we could cover that.
Anytime. You just gotta watch the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get into the news of the week.
Let's go.
If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts. I just mentioned the review show that maybe one day Ignacio will be on. That is one of the podcasts that we do. It is a book club style show, but we have multiple podcasts that you guys can go check out on our website, which is thewhatnauts.com, or your favorite podcast platform of choice. You guys can just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. If you guys like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. That would help us out a ton. Let's see, for the $1 a month, you guys can get episodes early. You can get access to the live streams of the review show. At the $3 tier, we have all kinds of exclusive content and more of that coming down the road. But we also would like to give a big shout out to our patrons at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, and thank you, Christine. We love you both for helping us out, keeping the mics on, keeping things rolling.
Hey, Sam and Christine, thank you.
Exactly. I've also been making a big push to have people follow us on YouTube. So if you guys could go subscribe to us on YouTube, that would be great. I think right now we're at 55 subscribers. Of course, one day we're hoping to make it to 100.
Hopefully.
But we will get there one day.
Hey, we can get there with your support. If you're
Yes.
listening to this, you can make that happen.
Exactly. Tell a friend. Tell a foe.
Friend. Yeah.
Tell your parents. Tell
Tell
someone
your
you don't
dog.
know.
Tell your cat.
Yeah.
I bet they have Instagram accounts, so why not make them also a YouTube account and have them subscribe?
Exactly. What kind of videos would a dog watch if a dog had a YouTube account? Like would he watch unboxing? Would he watch cooking videos?
I picture more a dog watching kind of like an kind of funny podcast style thing where it's just people talking.
Like
I can picture a dog actually watching
talk
that.
radio.
Yeah. Just watching people sitting down talking, and a dog just looking at it. And a cat.
That's a pretty chill stream.
And for a cat, I don't think a cat would care. Wouldn't even watch the screen. Because cats are like that.
Like I'm above you in your human ways.
Yeah. A dog would just sit there and enjoy it, but not a cat.
My parents used to have, I guess it was like Dish Network or something, some like satellite TV provider, and they had like a dog channel where you could put it on, and it was supposed to be like a TV channel that your pets could watch. And one of my dogs would. It was so dumb. It was wild though. They would like put the channel on, and all it was just a camera. It was like multiple cameras all in this one room, and there were like little puppies and kittens and all sorts of toys, and they're all just running around and playing and sleeping and doing all sorts of stuff. But for some reason, that channel above anything else, my dog would know that there were like dogs and cats on that. He'd just be like, "What? How did they get in there? What? Who put them in there? How can I get in there?"
Dogs are
like,
great.
Oh my god, he's watching it. Wild.
Dogs are the best.
They are the best.
Unlike cats.
I'm not much of a cat person either, but I don't mind them.
And they don't mind you.
Yeah. They
That's the thing.
don't mind me. I do have one horror story with a cat that I have to mention. I spent the night at a friend's house. It was a long time ago, back in like 2000. I think like the second X-Men movie was just about to come out. And I spent the night at this kid's house, and he had a cat. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and the cat was literally just sitting on my chest, looking at me. And I was just like, "What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is scary."
Yeah. Would have kept sleeping for another 5 minutes, and you wouldn't have woken up ever again.
Yeah. I saved my own life. I
Yep.
woke up and was just like, "Ah." It was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yep.
Okay, let's get to the news.
Let's go.
First things first. How many things we got here? We got 5 things today on the news items of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1. Last week we kind of mentioned that Kingdom Hearts mobile game that they announced. We didn't know much about it. We still don't know too much.
Yeah, we still
but
don't
they
know
have
much.
revealed the name.
Yep.
It
And
is
no one saw this coming, actually.
yeah. So the game is called Kingdom Hearts Dark Road.
Dark
Project
Road.
Xehanort.
So you have Kingdom Hearts
Xehanort.
358 over 2 days, Chain of Memories, Birth by Sleep, Recoded, and now this Dark Road.
What did I just do? I screwed something up on the Google Doc. Oh, never mind. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit last week, but I'm baffled that they're putting this out on mobile, because this game is supposed to tell the story of Xehanort and how he became this like dark, like the seeker of darkness.
Yeah. Well,
Which I think is pretty important story.
yeah, but also Square had also released Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key.
Yeah,
I'm kind of back in the name.
Unchained Key or
Yeah.
something like that.
And that game also has important lore for the overall story, and that's a mobile
Yeah.
game, so it isn't that wild to do.
I mean,
isn't
it's-
that uncharacteristic?
It's not uncharacteristic
Yeah.
in the sense that Kingdom Hearts has done this before. It's just still baffling to me that they are basically the only IP doing that. There's probably other examples, but like not to this degree, I feel like.
Yeah,
Just like most people aren't going to play this. Most people
Yeah.
aren't going to get these bits of the story, and then are going to be completely lost when you guys make Kingdom Hearts 3.
well,
Or I mean, not 3, 4.
well, if you look back to every other Kingdom Hearts game, there hasn't been one, there hasn't been 2 games on the same console. It has only happened once or twice, I think. Like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were on PS2, but Chain of Memories was on Game Boy Advance, Dreams of Distance was on 3DS,
Right.
Birth by Sleep was on PSP, and so
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts
Like,
tends to jump around consoles. So yeah, I mean, you have a point that a lot of people aren't going to play it because it's on yet another plays, but it has always been like that. And also, let's not forget, mobile games are big on Japan. So maybe for a Western audience, it isn't like, it is something like, oh, that's sad because we don't play much mobile games. But for Japanese people, it is actually, I think they would actually prefer it like that.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like mobile games are big worldwide, right?
I mean, yeah, they're big worldwide, but I mean, worldwide, maybe not many people would actually play something like this on their phone, but Japanese people, I think,
at least
would
expect something that has this much story.
Yeah.
Right? They want like a match 3.
Yeah. But again, I think Japanese people would actually. I wouldn't be surprised if Unchained Key or whatever it's called is actually, it does great in Japan already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, for us, it's wild that it's on a mobile. It's on mobile, but it kind of does make sense.
Ported to the Switch, at least.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
But if it copies the gameplay of Unchained Key, I don't know if I would like to play it. I tried to play that one, but I didn't like the gameplay much. So even if they port it, I don't know how many people would actually play it. Because, I mean, most people have smartphones, so we could already play it. Porting it to the Switch, I don't think it would make much of a difference.
Yeah, but that's about all we know for the Kingdom Hearts game right now.
I will still have also those other 2 Kingdom Hearts projects that are still unannounced, that we know are coming, but we don't know what they are.
Oh, you know what? Now that we're talking about Kingdom Hearts, I completely left off that I have been playing the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC Remind.
Did you actually finish it?
I did not beat all of those extra like fights, the like boss fights. Go into the computer and fight these. I played the first one and I got my ass whooped.
So you didn't finish it?
He killed me in like 2 hits, and I was just like, oh, no thanks. So I beat all the story stuff. So maybe when Mick gets back,
you're still missing some story stuff.
Yeah, I mean there is some story stuff, and then I went on YouTube after.
So you
and it was
actually
like,
went to
what's the secret ending? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that kind of sucks for the DLC is that they did put in the middle of the whole package all these 13 fights that aren't easy. They are actually kind of hard. So a lot of people will drop out whenever they get to this part and not get to experience the whole thing. I actually sorry, go ahead.
I beat Kingdom Hearts 3 proper around level 40. Like that's where my character was at, and I felt vaguely overpowered. Like just like not super overpowered, but enough where it's like I can basically just button mash and I don't need to like think. Right? What was that?
No, it's that I can't imagine trying to actually play through the DLC having not gotten to the level cap. So if so that's weird. Like it's kind of like you had to platinum the game in order to actually be able to play this part, and that's kind of the weird part. I actually
the like main story stuff you can do because I beat that. And I was still at like level 44, right? You gained some levels,
but that's only part of the DLC. It's not
once you get to those fights, like you need a character that's maxed out.
Yeah,
and that's like 60 more levels.
Yeah,
maybe.
And luckily I did that already. I was already max level because I went for the platinum. So I can imagine someone that just beat Kingdom Hearts 3 proper jumping into this and trying to beat the whole DLC.
No. Not happening.
Yesterday I watched IGN's review of the DLC, and in there the reviewer actually brought that thing up that if you aren't on the level cap, you'll have a really hard time playing through it. And actually, the reviewer of the person that reviewed the DLC didn't actually finish all of the fights, so he didn't get to experience the whole DLC.
Yeah.
So,
but I did look up that secret ending.
And what did you think?
The end, and oh goodness, I have no idea what to think. It's wild, the implications.
Yeah,
I kind of like it. Yeah, I kind of want Mick here so we can all discuss it and stuff like that.
That coward couldn't even show up.
I know, right? What a coward.
He did. He had to work because he needs to make up all the money that he spent on the Kind of Funny stream. I don't know if you saw how much money he spent.
I did not see. I watched like the first couple hours of that while I was at work, and then I went home and did my own thing.
Yeah, let's just say he spent over $1,000.
Oh, jeez, goodness gracious, Mick.
Yeah, so he needs to make the money back somehow.
Well, hey, he has a really nice job, so I'm sure he's doing well for himself. But yeah, what a coward! You know, he's probably playing it right now. He's like, yeah, I'm playing Sekiro or Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. So
we
love you, Mick.
You haven't gotten to the actual last boss fight, right? I mean, you haven't.
No.
Yeah, you haven't. That boss fight is ridiculously hard. Like, in order to get the real secret ending, the good ending, that boss fight is so hard, and I don't know how Mick actually got to finish it. He beat the last boss.
He's a monster.
And he's actually playing on the hardest difficulty.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So at least kudos to him for doing that. Being able to commit to it and actually finish.
Well, one day maybe I'll get good.
Yeah.
At something.
Or you could go for the platinum and you will eventually end up on the level cap.
Yeah. I don't know if Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game I want to platinum.
It is an easy platinum. It is time consuming, but not that much, I don't think. So, but it isn't hard. So
good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, let's move on to number 2 here. Nintendo ends its comeback year with over $9 billion in revenue. This is coming from Matt Perez over at Forbes. And he says, the past year showed Nintendo turning around its fortunes after the launch of the Nintendo Switch in March 2017. And its fiscal year wrap-up today shows a wide scope illustration of its success. With the fastest-selling console in U.S. history, a slew of hit releases and hardware like the SNES Classic, Nintendo finished the year 100% richer with $9.6 billion in revenue. Profit for the fiscal year hit $1.6 billion, which is a mind-boggling rise of over 500% year over year. Holy moly!
That Switch is selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people talking in the news that the Switch has now outsold the Xbox, like Xbox One.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean,
That's
maybe
sad.
expected. That's not much of the story I would talk about, but this $9 billion in revenue, holy moly!
I mean, especially if you look back not that many years ago, like in the Wii U era, how Nintendo was losing money so bad with the Wii U, and now fast forward to today, Nintendo has been making all this money. Like,
I mean, at the same time though, like the cynic in me, the pessimist is just like, well, they made so much off the Wii that the Wii U probably didn't make that much of a dent overall.
No, I mean, if I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they lost a lot of money with the Wii U. It's not that they didn't
I'm sure
make,
they did.
It's not that they didn't make as much with the Wii U as with the Wii. It's that they were actually losing money.
Huh.
Interesting. That's one thing I remember from back then, reading all these stories. And everyone was talking about how Nintendo was so rich that they could afford to lose that much money. But yeah, they weren't doing good back then. The Wii U was a failure for all intents and purposes. But going from then to now, making all this much money, that's incredible. That's one turnaround. Who would have thought?
But I read something else this week. I forget where I saw it, but they were talking about the Nintendo Switch is basically at its like mid-year, or not mid-year, but like the middle of the life cycle right now.
When did it come out?
2017
March. So
yeah,
it
had all
3 years.
2017, all 2018, all 2019. Yeah, so like
March is 3 years.
5 or 6 years. Maybe we'll get something new. The Switch 2 or something else. The Nintendo Kakarot or something. Who knows what?
Well, let's see. The 3DS I think came out on 2012. I may be mistaken. So that would be 5 years for the 3DS. Let me check that right now. But I don't know. 3 years sounds like not even close to halfway through. Especially if you compare it to, I don't know, the PS4 or the PS3 and on the Xbox One and 360, which had like 8 years.
The most recent stuff, had a lot longer. That's, I'm kind of speaking out of my ass here, but I've heard a lot of people talking about that's partly due to the recession in the US. I don't know how that affects stuff globally.
I don't know that.
So
that's what people would.
True
that's what people would say about the last generation, but this generation, it's about to be 7 years by the end of it. Yeah, because the PS4 and the Xbox One came out on November 2013, so it's gonna be 7 years, which is more or less where the PS3 at least ended up. The Xbox had one more year, the 360. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the recession might have been true for the last generation, but not for this generation. So I'm actually looking it up right here, and the 3DS came out on 2011. So February 26, 2011. So about 6 years, kind of to the day.
Yeah.
So you may be right. It might be halfway through.
3 years is about halfway through. And my point in mentioning that is more so that like I don't necessarily think Nintendo is thinking of trying to directly compete with the next generation consoles with PlayStation 5 and Project X and all that stuff that or the Series X that Xbox is putting out. But how do you like? They're going to do something, I think, not necessarily a Switch Pro. Like they also mentioned that they weren't going to be putting out a Switch Pro in 2020.
I mean, 2020 might be too close to the Switch. What's it called? Lite? Mini? I forgot.
Switch Lite. Like they could put something out in 2021, like March 2021, and just being like, hey, here's the Switch Pro or whatever the upgraded model is.
Some people are saying that why would Nintendo do that? But if you look back, Nintendo is actually the company that does that the most.
Yeah.
Like coming up with newer versions of their consoles. Yeah. Like the 3DS and the new 3DS, the DS and the DSi, the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. So it would be weird if Nintendo didn't actually release a Switch Pro to me.
Right. So I think that will happen. But I'm mentioning all of this to basically ask you, what do you think Nintendo is going to do? Like to not compete, but like I feel like they're going to put out some kind of big game to be like, hey, we also have Breath of the Wild 2, or
You mean
here's a new Paper Mario, or
so to compete against the release of the newer generation?
yeah, just put something out to be
Like put something out on
hey,
November,
we're still
let's
here.
say.
Yeah, like hey, we're still here. We still have a we made $9 billion in 2019. We're still here.
I mean,
You love us.
I
You know
wouldn't
you
be
do.
surprised if Nintendo actually released something big around the release of the newer consoles. But Nintendo, for already a while, hasn't been really competing against the Sony and Microsoft. Like,
Right. Well, like that's why I'm saying like they're not necessarily doing this to compete.
no.
But do you think it could be Breath of the Wild 2? What is there something else you would want? Do they finally have news about Metroid Prime 4?
I don't know, because the only bigger names that could actually do something are Breath of the Wild, which could come out, Super Smash Brothers, which no way it's coming out this year, a new one.
Yeah.
Mario Kart could come out in this year at some point, but I don't see it coming out in November. I would see that more coming out earlier on the year for whatever reason. I don't know. A new Mario game.
That would be a good holiday game, though. Like a new Mario Kart. It's like, hey, play this with your family.
I don't know. I'm guessing
You
comparing.
guys all have Switches because we made $9 billion last year.
I don't know. I guess I'm comparing it against the release of Mario Kart Deluxe, which came out earlier on the year, like April, May, around there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, we still don't know any big Nintendo games coming out this year.
We don't.
Other than I guess Animal Crossing, but
That's
I don't know
wild.
if I would count that. Well, it isn't that wild.
I feel like they have something up their sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, they must have. But I feel like at this point last year, we were on the same spot. Like, we didn't know anything big for the rest of the year. And then we got Pokemon, we got Luigi's Mansion, we got some other big name that I don't remember. Link's Awakening.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all those we knew about, like, kind of from the beginning of the year. So I'm still waiting for a Nintendo Direct to come soon.
We'll get one soon.
Yeah.
Number 3 on our list here. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has sold around 8 million units. This is coming from Rebecca Valentine at GamesIndustry.biz. During its Q3 earnings call with investors following the company's quarterly financial results, the publisher announced that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has sold, quote, beyond our projections for the quarter, end quote, and later reiterated the results by saying it, quote, hit the high end quote, of its expected sales. What were these projections then? Originally between 6 and 8 million. While EA didn't give an official sales figure for the game, that means Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has sold somewhere in the vicinity of 8 million copies since its launch. That's good. That's
You're telling me that actually good Star Wars content actually sold? I mean, who would have thought? Yeah,
There's
it's kind of
actual
like people
good
actually
Star
like
Wars
Star Wars
content out there.
It's kind of like people actually like Star Wars.
Kind of.
But
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thought? But yeah, I mean, this is great news. Single player, AAA Star Wars game sold immensely well. So this sends out a message that, hey, you can actually make money off of this, out of
this
single player content. So hopefully this just means we'll get more of it.
Hopefully. It'd be sweet to have some kind of DLC for the game. That would be sweet. They haven't announced anything, I don't think. But yeah, like the game may have not been my game of the year, but without a doubt, I think this is one of the games, whatever they do with it next, like I'm really excited about what it is. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do next.
They should be knocking it out of the park. So good on them.
Yep.
Good on Respawn for making a great game.
Good on EA
Multiple
for
great games.
nailing it for once with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 4 here. Pokemon Home pricing details revealed. This is coming from Chris Priestman over at IGN. Pokemon Home will have 2 pricing options when it is released in February 2020, plus there will be some differences between the smartphone and Nintendo Switch versions. A free version of Pokemon Home will be available to download, but more features can be unlocked by buying into the premium plan. Available on both smartphones and Switch, the premium plan costs $2.99 for 1 month, $4.99 for 3 months, and $15.99 for a whole year. So I will be honest, I don't know much about this whole Pokemon Home thing or what it is exactly.
Well, Pokemon Home, did you ever use Pokemon Bank?
I did not. Until this past year, I didn't even know that it existed.
Okay, so basically, since the 3DS games, Nintendo has given you a service. It used to be Pokemon Bank, now Pokemon Home, where you can actually store your Pokemon. Like bring them from one of the games to have it stored somewhere, like have it stored in a cloud or whatever. And that has now been the way you actually transfer Pokemon from one game to another.
Okay.
So
it's basically like your Pokemon box in
it's
game.
Literally a Pokemon bank. You can store your Pokemon there. And
Gotcha.
that's how you would bring them to another game, to another future game. So Nintendo used to, or I guess it still has, Pokemon Bank. But now with the release of the newer Pokemon games on the Switch, Nintendo unveiled yet another service, Pokemon Home, which does the same thing. It also does do some more stuff, but I don't know if those other things were also in Pokemon Bank, which are global trading and Wonder Trading, I think it was called.
Yeah, so here's some of the premium plan upgrades. I'm still looking at this article from IGN that says moving Pokemon from Pokemon Bank is unavailable in the basic version, but that is available in premium. So you can kind of transfer all your stuff. You have the premium one. Number of Pokemon that can be deposited with the basic plan is 30 Pokemon. In the premium one is 6,000. Holy shit. Number of Pokemon that can be placed in the Wonder Box at once is 3 Pokemon with the basic plan and 10 Pokemon with the premium plan. From what I understand, that's the anyone, you can trade with anyone in the world.
No,
the
keep reading.
Wonder Box thing.
Keep reading.
No? Okay. Let's see the number of Pokemon that can be placed in the GTS.
So GTS, at least that's what it used to be. GTS is Global Trading System.
Gotcha.
So GTS got introduced on Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. So that was the first time you could actually trade with people over the internet. You would actually put them on the GTS system, and you could say, "Hey, I got a Lapras, and I want a Togepi." So you would send that out, and if someone wanted that deal, they could trade with you. So I'm gonna double check if that's still the case.
So in the basic plan of Pokemon Home, you can only put 1 Pokemon in the GTS. and with the premium plan, you can put 3 of them in there.
Yeah, so it's global trade system.
Yeah. So it says room trade, you can only participate in the basic plan. In the premium one, you can participate and host. And then the judge function is unavailable in the basic plan, but available in the premium one. So there's a whole bunch of like upgrades and stuff you can do if you get that sweet premium deal.
So Pokemon Home does more than just store your Pokemon, but I'm not sure if Pokemon Bank also did more, if it did the same stuff. Okay. So something that caught my attention here is that Nintendo now has 2 services that are just the same, Pokemon Home and Pokemon Bank, going at the same time.
They're probably phasing Bank out, is what I'm thinking. Especially if with this premium plan you can transfer stuff, because that was what the thing said. I just shut that tab down, but it was like, with the premium plan you can transfer your stuff from Pokemon Bank.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see them just incorporate Bank into Home. Like, you don't need to have 2 subscriptions. Like, if you have Home, it would be nice. It would be, you would get both. Or if you have Bank, you would already have Home or wherever. But I'm wondering if it's kind of like the PlayStation name change thing. Is that like they built Pokemon Bank a certain way, and then they had an idea to like, hey, what if we end up taking it in this direction instead? And they were like, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Oh shit. Looks like we're gonna have to like rebuild this from the ground up. So I don't know, since I don't really use these systems. I'm sure there's someone out there who could explain it better, but I would imagine that ultimately what they're doing is phasing out Pokemon Bank. Well, now
and just making it.
Now that we know what's coming out, now we finally have a way to bringing older Pokemon into newer games. You didn't have that option until now. So if you had your old Pokemon you like to bring with you to newer generations, you couldn't do that. You couldn't bring those to Pokemon Sword and Shield when it came out. Okay. So now finally you can do that.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Good for them. Moving on, number 5. Google responds to complaints of slow Stadia announcements.
Oh, boy.
This is coming from James Batchelor over at gamesindustry.biz. So these complaints were basically coming from a particular Reddit thread pointing out that Google Stadia hasn't announced any new game from at the time it was like 69 it was like 69 days.
Yeah, since the time of the post it had been 69 days.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit more than that now, but it's
you seen that post?
I didn't go look at the official Reddit post that they're talking about, but
I saw it when
this thing
when it was coming up, when it popped up. But it's incredible the things that post out talks about, how there hadn't been any newer games since the launch or since 69 days, or newer game announcements. Like we hadn't heard about any of the games that Google had said would come out, like over 130 titles. We still didn't know anything about it. But yeah, it's incredible how much Google has messed this up.
Yeah, it's like... So let me read a little bit. This is, I think, partly their statement, maybe partly some of the stuff that James Batchelor wrote. But Google responded to these statements and these complaints saying, "We understand the desire to hear more specifics on games," the company told us. After all, this is what it is about, the games. Of course, not all 120 titles will be announced by the Stadia team, as we leave it up to the publishers to make the announcement about their IP and games, and which platforms it will appear on, just as we will do with the exclusive content coming to Stadia. There are a lot of reasons for the time of those game announcements. Anything from planned promotions or events, title readiness, proximity to first playable demo, shareholder requirements, etc. We continue to work closely with our publishing and developing partners and are here to support them in all areas. We are excited to share more about some of the exclusive games coming to Stadia soon.
Yeah, so I have the Reddit post here. I don't know if you want to go over it.
Sure. Take it away.
Okay. So the title is Stadia has officially gone 40 days without a new game announcement / release, feature update, or real community update. It has been out for 69 days at the time of the post, and it's time we demand better. So here's what it outlines. So where do we stand? As expected, there haven't been any further updates in January after the 120 game mystery bonanza, other than the February Pro games, which we still don't know. Still supposedly 2+ months out until 4K on browser, any assistant functionality at all, and the true wireless controller functionality advertised. So you still cannot use your controller wirelessly. You still have to have it plugged in, and still no more than 4K on browser. 120 games coming, but none revealed so far. Pixel phone remains the only Android phone with a Stadia functionality. Still no mention of iOS. Still no mention at all of Stadia Base. Still no mention of family sharing. Still no acknowledgement that they've read and or listened to the community, which they just did. So, and daily updates scrapped for weekly updates, scrapped for bi-monthly updates. So that's mostly what the post talks about. But yeah. I don't know what you think.
I think Google's response is typical PR speak.
Yep.
But I think you can kind of read between the lines of how they're playing this, and it seems to mirror other announcements that they have made, and it still just seems like they have no idea how to be like a games publisher or a games platform. Because they have this part here. It says, we leave it up to the publishers to make the announcement about their IP and games, which is, again, just throwing the other publishers under the bus, like all these developers under the bus, being like, well, they can announce it when they want to. It's like, oh, we have 4K, but if the developer didn't make it in 4K, then it won't run at 4K. It's like, well, you promised 4K.
Yeah.
You promised 120 games, right?
Yep.
Like, and now you're like washing your hands, being like, well, it's not up to us, it's them.
And this that post still doesn't address all the other complaints that people have. Complaints that, I mean, you read this stuff and it would seem like Stadia is on a beta, and it isn't. So Pixel phone is really the only phone you can play Stadia on. You still have to play with the controller wired. You cannot do wireless. And all this stuff, it's mind-boggling how Google would release something like this as a product, not as a beta, as a real product, as a supposedly finished product. And it's so weird how Google it's like they released the thing and, okay, we'll see if it can survive the wild. We'll check in a couple of days. And if it didn't, we'll move on. It feels like that.
To me, it almost feels like false advertisement. There's probably legal stuff in there, or they worded it in a specific way where it's not actually false advertisement, but it feels like they're skirting that line so much.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, come on, Google. Like they do this, after they throw the developers under the bus of like when they will make the announcements, they say, just as we will do with the exclusive content coming to Stadia. So it's making me seem like Google is only ever going to announce and talk about the exclusives that are coming to their thing. It seems like they have no interest in announcing like these other games that aren't exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, Google does, or at least the people at Stadia do have a point where they cannot announce stuff that other publishers haven't announced. But still,
even if it's that, if that's the right thing, like technically they're right about that. Why would you promise this stuff if you're just gonna put your foot in your mouth?
Yeah,
don't say shit.
It kind of
just
feels
shut
like
up.
They talked about the 120 games just to shut up people back when they said that, and now still nothing has come from it.
Like I think they promised like something like 10 Stadia exclusives by the like middle of 2020.
Yeah.
Here we are in the second month and we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, that's something they could announce.
And
no blaming anyone else. You could announce your own games.
If they're gonna have some kind of event or something to announce them all at, it's like you're getting to a point where you're gonna have to like dump them all at once.
Yeah.
And like, okay, here's 10 exclusives all at once. And while it might be good to have those, it'll just seem very strange to just dump them all at once. Like it feels like it seems like they're cannibalizing their own stuff.
I mean, it really feels like Google really just threw Stadia out there, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we move on. Like not trying to put any effort on it. No effort on improving it. And also we have Microsoft coming out with their own streaming services, and they actually been doing it kind of right. They have it on beta right now, and they have games on it, real games on it. And
exactly.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen when Microsoft finally releases Project X Cloud to the masses. Like, could Stadia ever catch up? It already has a bad beginning. And if Microsoft can pull what it's promising, could Stadia ever catch up?
Who knows? So I didn't post it. I'll post it in our Discord now, which you guys can go join at thewhatnauts.com/Discord. We'd love to have you guys in there. But Patrick Klepek over at Vice wrote in an article this past week that says, is NVIDIA building the thing that people actually wanted from Stadia? NVIDIA's streaming service has quietly existed since 2013, but these days it can stream the games you already own on Steam. And then he goes on to talk about this whole thing and his experience playing with this, and it seems like he's really enjoying it. I'm just like, look, here's someone who's been doing it slowly since 2013.
Yeah, I mean, you never hear about it. I forgot NVIDIA had something like this.
It sounds like familiar. It's already better than Stadia.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, NVIDIA, I don't know how much money they have or what kind of network and infrastructure stuff they have. But yeah, like even though they've been working on it seemingly longer, you would kind of think, hey, this is Google. They have more money. They have more power and influence. Like, you would think they could just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
and they have just stumbled every step of the way.
I mean, the sad part is that I really want Stadia to succeed. You see, Google, like as an example, Google has done an incredible job with video streaming. YouTube
Yeah.
is really an incredible thing. You compare YouTube to any other video streaming service, and I mean, we take it for granted streaming stuff in 1080 or in 4K, stuff on YouTube. And if you compare it to any other video streaming service, that, I mean, it doesn't even compare. So I really would like for Google to put the same effort on streaming video games.
Yeah.
I really want them to succeed, and Google doesn't seem like they are trying with it.
Not at all. The last thing
It's
I'll
sad.
say about it, though, is that they have kind of pointed to YouTube. Like when it first got started, it was not what it is now, right? Like
Yeah.
if we went back to day one YouTube, it would be a mess. It would be bad. So if that's the approach they're going to take, where they're slowly going to improve this over time, that's fine. Like I'm 100% okay with that. I think the thing that has upset people is that that's not how they advertised it. That's not how they like said it was going to work until we called them out. And then they were just like, I mean, like those features will come one day, but you know, they can't all come at once. And it's just like, bullshit, dude. You announced that it would have that.
Yeah, and I also don't like the argument of, oh, we're just starting, so it's to be expected. Google isn't making Stadia on a vacuum.
They're not, no.
No, Google should have seen what other people are doing or what they have been doing themselves with YouTube, and should have had something better to start with. This thing, Stadia wasn't created on a vacuum. It's not like it's Google's first product. So saying that, oh, we're just starting, it isn't a valid argument for me. And what's really bad is that you can actually go now and buy Stadia.
Yeah.
It's so weird. You can actually go to Google Store and buy a Stadia right now.
Who knows? I'm still waiting on the free version because they haven't announced when that's coming exactly yet.
They promised that, and who knows when that's coming.
So we'll see. Because I would like to try it out. I just don't want to spend $120.
Yeah, same
on the thing.
I actually looked into getting one, but I can't like justify buying Stadia since I know A, the service doesn't seem to be all that great. B,
Right.
I can only do it on my computer and only wired or whatever. Or I guess on a Chromecast, but I can't do it on my phone like I would like, and it has been advertised. And see, it's $130 or $20. I can't justify purchasing it, and it also has games I've already played, old games.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
who knows? One day.
hopefully
It'll get
one day.
So I put this in as required reading for everyone out there. There's an article I found posted this past week from Kotaku. The headline is "Top Streamers Are Leaving Twitch Amidst Big Money and Shady Deals." Let's see. This is written by Nathan Grayson. Again, that's over at Kotaku.com. Go check it out. Go look it up. I don't think this is particularly news. We've known most of this stuff, but it's neat to kind of see a little bit more of the behind the scenes of what has been happening here.
What is it about?
Talking about all of the streaming platforms signing streamers to exclusive deals and why that's happening, how much they're being paid. It's not only Ninja and Shroud that have changed. There's people going to Facebook. There's people going to YouTube. There's people who were on Mixer, and then when they started signing people, it seemed like they were no longer wanted on Mixer. And so they went to Twitch, and so there's moves being made, things are happening, feathers are being ruffled.
Yep.
But it's a pretty cool story to check out, so I highly recommend going to check that out in your spare time.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's about all we have for news. Ignacio, I have a question for you. I asked this to Mick a couple weeks ago, and then I forgot to ask you last week because I was going to ask you when you got back, or once you had settled in here in the United States. But what are your gaming goals in 2020? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish or do or look back at? Maybe you have something in your backlog that you're like, man, that's sitting there. It's been sitting there for a long time. I just need to finally finish it. Or is there something? Maybe you don't have one.
Okay, I can come up with one. So, okay. I've been a PlayStation player my whole life. I've only had an Xbox 360, and that only lasted for a year. But now, thanks to a very accessible deal, I bought an Xbox One X.
Nice.
Yeah. So I now have access to Xbox catalog. And so, I don't know, my goal
Mr.
is to try...
Moneybags over here coming to America, buying an Oculus, an Xbox.
Yeah, well, I was saving up, and also things are cheaper here. But yeah, so I want to check out stuff I've been missing out on, like Halo or Forza.
Yeah. That's what I want to do as well, except I'm going to wait for the new stuff. So, we'll see. Okay, so you're going to be checking out more Xbox stuff.
Yep.
Interesting. That'll be good. I think one of the things that I want to do this year, I can't remember if this is the one that I mentioned when Mick was here. I'll name one or two of them here. But I still haven't beaten Breath of the Wild.
What?
I got all 4 divine beasts.
Okay.
And then I got up to the part where it was like, okay, go defeat Ganon.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay. I'm going to go play Mario.
Okay. What did you solve?
I don't know. Like, I just set it down, and then other things started coming out, and I don't know. So I need to go back and finish that one.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. I really need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to beat Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's on my list from my backlog. But also, I bought the original Final Fantasy VII on my Switch. And so I have never played that game.
So you want to play that before the remake?
Kind of. I don't know if I'll beat it before then. Yeah. Who knows? But it's on my list of just like, this is one of the most, like, one of people's favorite games, if not considered one of the best games of all time. And I've never played it. My first Final Fantasy was number 10. I fell in love with that one.
Yeah, I also haven't played 7.
So all of the Final Fantasies before 10 are the ones that I haven't touched. So
I don't know. The only Final Fantasy I've actually beaten has been 15. So,
oh man, you're missing out on some. 10 was fantastic. I didn't like 2 or the
10-2.
10-2, yeah. But I beat that one. I really liked 12. 12 was fantastic.
Is that not the MMO?
That's 11.
Oh.
And then 12 is really good. You're basically this like sky pirate running around, stealing stuff, fighting stuff. It's good. I like that one. I believe it's out on Switch now too, so that's something you should potentially check
13?
out. And then I played and beat 13. I thought it was maybe kind of forgettable. Yeah. That said, I think some of the character designs are fantastic. I only played that first one. Like I didn't play the trilogy, so I didn't do 13-2 or Lightning Returns. I don't think I knew that second one came out, and then I saw that Lightning Returns came out, and I'm like, oh wait, that's the third one? What? Okay, whatever. And then I played 15, and I actually really liked 15.
Yeah,
but I only played the base story.
Yeah, same.
It was like a year or two after it came out, so it was like they had patched it and stuff, so it was playing better, but it was before all the DLC had really come out, stuff like that. So
yeah,
I ended up liking that one a lot, but not as good. I like my favorite one is still 10.
I think just
because
15.
It was my first.
I loved 15. It was even my game of the year that year.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Ignacio.
Yep.
Where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIOROJSB. That's my name and last names. Also, you might catch me on a Twitch chat once in a while as Ignacio Rojas.
There you go. You guys can find me at Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. You guys want to stay up to date with all of our podcasts, we are on Twitter at The Whatnauts. I already mentioned our website, thewhatnauts.com, patreon.com/The Whatnauts. Go subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yep.
We could use your help. That would help us out a ton. Get some more eyeballs on our podcasts and stuff like that. Here's a goal I should mention. Hopefully sometime this year we can transition this show into a video show. We'll work on that though. But I think that about wraps us up for this week. Hopefully Mick will be back with us this next week. We are excited about that. Ignacio, what are you excited to play
Kakarot.
this week?
More of it.
More Kakarot.
I want more of it. Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. I'm excited to dive back into Assassin's Creed and finish Life is Strange. Hopefully. Hopefully we can knock it out this week. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. We will see you guys next week. This has been Crossplay episode 13. Adios.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out our podcast. Again, we hope you enjoyed it. I say the same thing basically every time on these things. You guys know the deal. Leave a comment down below if you guys think that Stadia should start getting good. Something. In the meantime, go subscribe to our channel right up here. It's in that corner right there. Hit that button and help us out. Subscribe. Go watch one of the other videos, which is right down here in that corner. We got a bunch of different podcasts for you to check out. And we hope you enjoyed those ones too. But until next time, bye.